Well, hello, my theater lovelies. How are you? This is a little different of a video. You might notice I'm in my dressing gown. Of course, I travel with my dressing gown, doesn't everyone? What do you wear after you've gotten out of the shower and before you've decided what to dress in, and when you're lounging? Anyway, so I owe you a couple of videos. I did see Marjorie Prime on Wednesday evening. I am going to I may or may not do a video about that. All right. I do encourage everyone to see it. It a brilliant, relevant, very important piece of art and phenomenal everything. I do want to say one thing about Marjorie Prime because, as we know, that there's our holograms and it deals with artificial intelligence and people are like, I want to know how they do the holograms. It's just actors. It's just actors. Just actors. We don't need no special effects. We're actors. And brilliant that they did. But yeah, there was no like AI special effect type stuff. They did a little bit with lighting. Let me tell you about last night's show because last night's show was a surprise. Well, it was on my list, but it was kind of somewhere back, and what I wanted to see last night, I couldn't. And so that was like, ooh, what am I going to go see? Because I buy right before the box office. And this one I bought at the box office 30 minutes before the show. Liberation. Liberation. The light is probably burning that somehow. So sorry about that. But this play is called Liberation. Liberation at the James Earl Jones. And let me tell you, that was an experience. First off, this is a play, meaning non-musical, okay? However, music plays a very big part of it in the pre-show music and the interim music. So get there early and listen because it's amazing music. This is a play that is 2 hours and like 15 minutes, 2.5 hours. We haven't had, to my knowledge, many new full-length plays. Plays that non-musicals are being written in 90-minute to 200-minute, that we're not having 90-minute to 200-minute. You know what I meant. Without intermissions, and which is fine, but they're written, so I'm just excited that this is a full-length full drama, tons of comedy, liberation, about women's lib. Yep, that's what it's about, okay? But not really. It's a memory play. And one of the things that I love about it, and it reminded me of a couple of other memory play type genres. This is the memory play genre. When I was learning, back in the old days, says Grandpa, we had strict boundaries and guidelines for certain genres, and you didn't do certain things, and there were things. I can remember, and God, this was 1995, that I was doing a community theater production of Inherit the Wind, very small, very intimate, and I had the actors, I had them sitting with their backs to the audience, and the board was like, called a meeting to discuss making me change my staging because you can't have your back to the audience. So there used to be these strict rules which have been doing away, and memory plays still. This one breaks all the rules. That not just the narrator who is telling the story goes in and out of character and in and out of time period, but the other characters do as well. So it's Susanna Flood, I believe is her name. Let me just double check. Susanna Flood plays the role of Lizzie. And in today's, I don't remember what her name is, but she is Lizzie's daughter. And so she greets the audience and she talks to us. I don't want to give it all away, but one of the funny things she said, because when you come into the theater, this is at the James Earl Jones, and when you get there, they put your phone in a thing, and it's locked away, and you cannot have your phone. And there's other theaters that do that, big deal. But she comes out and she's welcoming us and she's talking straight to the audience and she's like, "So they took your phones, right? Yeah, you okay? Now are y'all gonna be okay?" I mean, it was just really, I mean, it's kind of predictable joke, but she did it in a really funny way. I liked her presentation because she went in and out of herself and her mother. Because so in the 1970s, her mother organized in Ohio I forget what they called them, CR groups, creative, reason. I don't remember it, but responsible thinking. But these are socially aware groups, and this one was about women's lib. And so you have different. You had the housewife who'd been married for 40 years. You had the token lesbian. You had you had like six people, but they would go back and forth in time, and it was a lot about liberation and a lot about the way this world treats women. And I'm not going to go off on that because I can do that in a heartbeat. Um, I thank God for a friend that I made eons ago, Jean Ann. You guys have met her because she was on a video years ago. And she teaches gender equality studies and feminine studies, and she teaches these things at UNC. And she has taught me so much, and I've learned so much about equality. And, you know, it just really, the play last night, though, is so important. It's hysterically funny. I mean, laughing with tears, crying, and then sobbing. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know what's become. I've become a cold bitch or something. I haven't had a sobbing experience like that in a long time. And that was at the end. I definitely related a great deal in this to my mother and what life was like for her when she was working in the 70s and the 60s, when she couldn't own a bank account and couldn't take out a mortgage, and the type of woman she was. And so this really touched home. And my mother is 88. And in fact, she'll turn 88 on the 17th. And so this play touched me a lot in a lot of ways. Another big way, and I am going to go there, is there were far, far, far too few white men in the audience last night. There were far too few men in the audience, period. But specifically, you know what I'm saying. Um, and it needs to be packed with men. Men need to hear this story, and they need to realize what we as a species and as a race have done. And we didn't do it intentionally, a lot of us. Our ancestors did, and we just did what they did. So it's got to break. We got to break. But the way that to look at it, it is not something that I have to give to my friend Jane Ann. That is not rights. It's not something that I need to give to my friend Jill or to my friend Danielle. They are a fucking human being, and they have every right that I have and that straight white men have, and black straight gay men have, black or straight. We all have the same rights, and it is not a right to be given to women. It's their right to claim and for us to get out of the way. I hope that made sense. I don't know. I just went off on a tangent there, guys. Sorry. I loved the play. It was very moving. It was very emotional. James Earl Jones Theatre. It is worth it. Liberation. Please go see this play. I believe Susanna Flood, who played the lead, I definitely hope she gets a Tony nomination. She was amazing. I will say that she reminded me, and this isn't in a bad way, of Heidi. I'm going to say her name wrong. I want to say it's something like Shrek or Shrike or something like that, but it's Heidi. And she wrote the play, What the Constitution Means to Me, which is also a memory play, and also breaks some of the rules and goes back and forth. But the way that Heidi in that play, because I loved that, spoke to the audience and spoke about her memories and herself and the way the honest real way you felt like this person was really kind of having a therapy session with you, and it was really really moving, really good. Please go see it, Liberation, at the James Earl Jones Theatre. And tonight, Friday night, December the 5th, I am seeing Art. I cannot wait. It's going to be a big night. All right. All right, theater lovers. I love you. Thanks for sticking with me through all that ramble. Have a good one.